Yum. I just love these. You have to try them. This is Thanksgiving for me. More than turkey, more than green bean casserole, more than mashed potatoes. This is Thanksgiving. Butterhorns are like sweet crescent rolls. They're nice and light and fluffy. We're not that far from Butterhorns. Big celebration meal coming up for us in the US. And while I love the tradition of Thanksgiving, food, family, friends, one of my favorite days of the year, the meal itself, I could kind of give or take. Turkey, cranberry sauce, green bean casserole, gravy, mashed potatoes. I love the tradition of it, but none of those things are really all that exciting to me. What is exciting to me, and what I miss if it doesn't hit the Thanksgiving table, is the recipe I'm showing you today. I'm making butterhorns. Butterhorns are a yeasted dough that's slightly sweetened, rolled into a crescent shape. They're light, they're fluffy. Sometimes they're stuffed with things, I've read, but my family never put anything in them except copious amounts of butter. The recipe is not that complicated, especially if you have a KitchenAid mixer or some other mixer that will do all of your kneading for you. I'm gonna take the help, as I'm sure most of us would on a busy Thanksgiving day. Ingredients in butterhorns are very straightforward. Eggs, all-purpose flour, sugar, salt, yeast, milk, butter. So I'm going to get going over the stove, the salt, sugar, milk, butter. All I'm trying to do is warm them up enough to activate the yeast. So I'm gonna put this on a low burner and stir until everything is melted, and they come up to like warm water temperature, no warmer than that. While our mixture starts to melt on the stove, I'm gonna do the next quick step, which is mixing a packet of active dry yeast with some sifted all-purpose flour. Just give that a tiny little whisk and set that aside. So this mixture should not be hot. We don't want to kill our yeast, but it should be warm. So I'm just gonna sit here and whisk it until it comes down just a little bit. So we're looking for something here that's comfortable hand washing temperature to activate our yeast. So the only way I can tell that is by putting a finger in it. This is still a little bit warm, so I'm gonna put it into a container and let it cool down just a little bit. You want this to be like 100 to 110. Definitely no warmer than 140, that will kill your yeast. But active dry yeast activates best 100 to 110. So the way to test that is either use an instant read thermometer or just do the finger test. If it feels warm to the touch, you're probably okay. This is just gonna go into the bowl of my KitchenAid mixer that has the paddle attachment on for now. So into the bowl it goes. I'm gonna add 3 eggs, mixing in between. Okay, those are well mixed. So now I'm going to add in our flour mixture. Just a couple spoonfuls at a time, mixing in between. Give it a scrape down. And at this point, it's gonna start to form a pretty loose dough. So we're just gonna beat it for a few more minutes with the paddle on before we switch to the dough hook. Okay, we're to the point of forming a very sticky dough. So, time for the dough hook. If you need to add a little extra flour, you can absolutely do that. If you're to turn this out onto a floured surface right now, you definitely have to have a lot of flour because it's very sticky. That's okay, that's the way it should be. Dough hook on. Now, if you're kneading this by hand, it's gonna take probably 8 to 10 minutes. You want the dough to be kind of glossy and smooth and come together in a beautiful ball. The mixer's gonna take a little bit longer. I'll probably leave it for like 20 minutes, but I'll check in with you and let you know how long it takes. So 20 minutes later, and I'm happy with the way this dough looks. Still pretty sticky, which is to be expected. Poke test comes back. It's nice and shiny. It looks just like a really pretty dough. So what I'm going to do is actually use the same bowl, give it a little bit of a spritz. It's a little dirty, but it's fine. A little spritz with some oil. Put my dough back in. And then leave this dough to rise until it doubles in size, which depending on how warm your kitchen is, will probably take like 2 hours. And I'll see you in a couple hours after its first rise when it has doubled in size. It is a couple hours later and time to get the show on the road for these butterhorns. This dough looks so delicious. It's a little bit sweet, which I just love. It looks great. It's exactly the way it should look. And I'm gonna take it out, divide it into thirds, and show you how I roll it out. It does require one more rise before it goes into the oven, but these guys bake really quickly, like 12 to 14 minutes in a hot oven. So we're not that far from Butterhorns. The goal is to roll this dough into like 12 to 14-inch discs, round circles, but first we have to separate it into 3 pieces. This is always hard for me. How'd we do? It's okay if they're not perfectly sized. I got kind of close. Okay, flour on the bench, and we're gonna roll. So the only other tools on my bench are a pizza cutter. That's what we're gonna use to cut these out. And a little bit of butter with a brush. We brush them with butter. I also have a couple cookie sheets here with Silpat on the cookie sheets, but you can use parchment paper. You can just grease a cookie sheet too. Okay, that looks about right to me. Kind of round. I'm gonna brush with butter, and then we're just gonna make wedges. So, and half again. And then to roll these Butterhorns, it's like rolling up a crescent roll. So you start at the wide end and then roll to the narrow end. And then you shape them like that. Voila. And what I like to do is make sure that the seam side is down. So roll, shape, seam side down. They do need a couple of inches. They're gonna expand a fair amount if we did our job right. So they need a little bit of space in between, but you should be able to get, I don't know, 10 to 12 per cookie sheet. And then we just finish wrapping and rolling. 24 Butterhorns ready for their second rise. I'm gonna put these not on top of the stove, but near the stove and let them rise for about another hour, and I will see you then. It's about an hour later, and I am really happy with the way these guys are looking. I put a little bit of butter on them right after I stowed them on the counter, and they've just been sitting in proximity to my warm oven, but not in too hot a spot. They've probably doubled in size-ish. They look nice and light and airy, and they're gonna go in the oven. So they're going in a 400-degree oven, probably for 10 to 14 minutes. Usually they take around 12 minutes, but you'll know they're done when they turn light golden brown and they puff up a lot. I'll see you when these are done. That took like 10 minutes total, and they look absolutely delightful. Yum. So the way I like to eat Butterhorns is to unroll them. They're nice and warm on the inside. Toss a little more butter in there, some jam, whatever you like. Roll it back up. This is Thanksgiving for me. More than turkey, more than green bean casserole, more than mashed potatoes. This is Thanksgiving. I just love these. You have to try them. They're so good. They're a little bit sweet. They're nice and light and fluffy, and they've got that satisfying unroll that you can add butter or jam or, I don't know, my dad used to eat them with turkey, mashed potatoes, and gravy on top the next day. Thanksgiving is cool and all, and I love a big holiday celebration meal. But if you had me over to your house for Thanksgiving and all you had on the menu was a glass of wine and a couple of Butterhorns, I wouldn't be mad at it. Thank you so much for being here with me today. I really appreciate it. If you like this video, please give it a like. If you want to see more from me, please subscribe to my channel. I hope you're having a great holiday season, and I look forward to seeing you here again soon. Cheers.